guys, it's Amber. Welcome to my reading vlog. So I did promise that I would do a reading vlog on the Revenant games. So I'm going to do that. I got this in April's Once Upon a Book Club, and with the full box you get little presents that go along with the book. So once you get to a certain part in the book, a certain page, then you can open the present that went with it. So I thought it'd be fun to do it with you guys. So here we go. Have the dust jacket on. I'm always afraid that I'm gonna ruin it. First gift. All right, so we got to the first gift to open. So I'm going to open it and then just talk about what's happened so far. So page 12, this was the first one. So let's see what it is. And even the little containers are so cute. Okay, cute. It looks like it says, it's a little mushroom. Looks like it says mushroom lip gloss is what it is. I probably should put my reading glasses back on so I can see for sure. Yep, mushroom lip gloss, Once Upon a Book Club. So let's open this. Oh, it's cute. Look at how adorable that is. So first gift to go along with the story. Very, very cute. It's adorable. So, whoops, and I'm dropping and breaking things already. Okay, so far, it was only to page 12, so not much has happened yet, but it begins with a story about Bly and her sister Elise, and they live in a place called the Gap, which is between two different mystical places. One is a place called Vagaris, which reminds me of Valaris from Akatar, but Vagaris, which is where the vampires live, and then the other one is Haven Weil. That's what it was, Haven Weil, I'm pretty sure, which is where the witches live. The witches and the vampires have a truce, but they hate each other. Humans in the Gap live in between in their own space, and they do business with vampires and witches. Their greatest commodity is their blood. Vampires use it to feed, obviously, and then witches use the blood to for spells and stuff like that. So there's a forest near the Gap where the humans live, and humans will go in to forage, but if you get too close to the Vagaris side, you could end up getting captured and have your blood drained and possibly killed, obviously. And if you get too close to the witch side of the forest, then you can again get your blood drained and possibly killed. So that's what's happening. Bly and Elise have gone into the forest because they're trying to forage for mushrooms, because Bly wants to purchase something to help her to get out. She wants to leave the gap, and she wants to take her best friend, who she has feelings for, Emerson, that was his name, with her. And she doesn't feel like he feels the same way. And so she's hoping to get him to see her in a different light than just as a friend, and not as a little girl anymore. So that's all that's happened. It told me to open it as they were foraging for mushrooms. So that is what's happened so far. So far, I've really liked the writing. Very nice descriptions, slightly lyrical in writing. It is third person. It is not first person. I know some people prefer one more than the other, but it's like third person narrative. I am enjoying it so far, even though I'm only 12 pages in. Hello, it's the next day, and I've read more of the Revenant games, and if you saw, I did get to the next gift, so I'm about to open that for you, and then I'll share a little bit more of what's going on. I can't remember if I mentioned this earlier, but there are spoilers with my thoughts. This is a spoilery video, so just to warn you. So anyway, I have page 110 is the next present from the Once Upon a Book box that just came in. So let's see what we got going on in this now. Okay, let's see, and it's a cute little box. Oh, okay, all right, very, very nice. I like it. This says skinny scarf, tie around your neck to keep vampires away, or around your handbag straps for extra decoration. So very, very nice. So to talk about what's happened so far now in the book, Bly and her sister, I think that was the last thing I was talking about, they were foraging for mushrooms in the forest, in an area that was dangerous, and unfortunately some of the mushrooms are spelled, and you can usually tell that they're spelled by the witches. And her sister Elise picked a mushroom that ended up being spelled, and she didn't realize it. She didn't see the little marking on it, and she died, unfortunately. So she hadn't wanted to come in the first place. Bly convinced her to come with her to forage for mushrooms so she could get the money for what she wanted. And she ended up watching her sister die in front of her. And so she's consumed by guilt, obviously. And a year and some time later, we come back to Bly, and she is now trying to raise money by selling her blood in the market, and doing some other things to earn enough money to enter she wants to enter what's called the Revenant games, because if you are a winner in the games, if you capture a witch, for the vampires, you're able to gain immortality for yourself or someone else. Or if you capture a vampire for the witches, then you can bring someone back to life. And so that's her plan, is to bring someone back to life, obviously her sister. So she wants to enter the games, and in the process of her trying to earn certain spells and stuff in the marketplace for the games, she is out foraging in the forest again, this time for berries, comes across some vampires. Some vampires find her as she's foraging for the berries, and there's about 5 of them. Some of them want to feed on her, but the one vampire who's like the head vampire, I guess, we don't know much about him, his name's Kerrigan, he tells them no, because he could tell that she was already pretty much gonna die because of selling her blood in the marketplace. She was pretty drained already. And so he tells them no, leave her alone. And they go off. And then it ends up another one, the female vampire that was with them, ended up coming back to her and draining her to where she passes out. She doesn't die, but she passes out. And her best friend, Emerson, finds her in the forest, and he finds out what she's going to do, what she wants to do to bring back her sister. And so he ends up trying to steal a spell for her from one of the witch's stalls. And because of that, he gets cursed by a witch. And he has like a year to live. And so Bly decides that maybe it would be a good idea if he joins in the games too. That way they both can get what they want. He doesn't want to become a vampire, but she doesn't want to lose him, so she convinces him to do the games with her. So they go to the vampires' city, Vigaris. Again, I always think Valaris when I see Vigaris. To hopefully be picked, to hopefully earn a sponsor from the vampires. So this is where I am right now. So they're in a big party at the beginning where the vampires can see all the humans that are wanting to enter, and hopefully choose Bly or Emerson to sponsor. So that's where we are right now, and come across, this is where I just left off to get this is Bly runs into Kerrigan again. He's there at the party, and he comes up to her, and she thanks him for saving her life. And anyway, she knows he's like wearing a blue scarf around his neck and stuff. So that's why we got this cute little scarf to go with it. It's very, very nice. So there's where I am right now. So we'll see. So far I've been enjoying it. Not a ton has happened yet, but it's a really interesting like setup with everything, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen like during the games, like what exactly entails capturing a vampire or a witch and surviving. So we'll see what happens, but it's been enjoyable so far. I've really liked it. Hello. So it's been a couple of days since I've read this, and I actually forgot to film during this next time. So I got to the next the next gift on page 315. So I figured I'd just go ahead and open it for you guys. See, there it is right there. So I am past that. I just didn't film. So let's see what goodies we got in this. I think I have a suspicion of what it is, you know, since I've read that part now. So let's see if I'm right. So, what could it be? What could it be? Okay. All right. Yep, I was right. Excuse me. It's a hammock. Wow, they could give some pretty cool gifts in this box, and this box really wasn't that much. The Once Upon a Book Club box. I'm trying to remember. I think if I'm remembering, I could be completely wrong. Maybe it was more. But I'm pretty sure it's only between 35 and 45 for it. It might have been 50. I don't know. But I have to say that I am impressed with what you can get from it to go along with the book. So I got a hammock, which is really cool. Because I had been thinking about, oh, I wish I had a hammock. That would be really cool. Although the question is where to put it. That is the big question, but I think that's really cool. So last time I talked about this, again, there are maybe spoilers, more than likely there will be spoilers, and was Bly and her best friend Emerson going to the vampires party to find a sponsor. That didn't happen. They weren't able to get a sponsor. The next day was the party for the witches, so they went to the witches part of the world, Haven Weil, I think is what it was called, what is called, to get a sponsor there. They were able to get a sponsor, a girl named Drizel, no, why can't I remember her name? A girl witch who decides to sponsor them, along with a couple other people who just want the money. And Bly is like, that's fine, you can have the money. We just want the spell to bring back my sister. So they, through some different things, they end up going back to Vagaris, which is where the vampires live, to try and through subterfuge, lure a vampire and capture him. Well, they end up capturing, well, not even capturing. Bly ends up coming across Kerrigan again, who was the vampire that helped her when she was surrounded, going to be have her blood sucked dry by a few vampires, including his brother. He realizes that it's all a ruse, and he ends up actually deciding to go along with Bly, like of his own free will. She doesn't end up having to capture him or anything. He's tired of the vampire life, and he wants to, he finds out the story about her sister, and he wants to sacrifice himself for bringing her back, because he's done with being a vampire. He's sick of it, and so he's ready to do that. So he wants to sacrifice himself. So he goes along with everyone, of course, besides Bly. Well, even Bly is kind of wary of him to begin with, but he, through some different things, he does kind of protect her and stuff, and so she kind of comes to trust him a bit. And there ends up being a rift. They find out the witch that is helping them had like a glamour spell on herself, and she ends up being, again, this is spoiler stuff, she ends up being the head witch's daughter, and she was going to kill Bly because she's jealous of her, because she knows about Bly having feelings for Emerson. Well, Bly ended up confessing her feelings to Emerson, and that didn't work out very well. she ends up finding out some other things about Emerson and her sister, that she didn't realize that they had feelings for each other. And they decide to come up with a plan because Kerrigan saves Bly from being killed by Demelza. I think that was her name. I think that's her name. The daughter of the head witch. He saves her. They bind her. They decide that they can trade her in for the head witch. So they try to make it so they're able to do that. In regards to the hammock, that has to do with they go back to Havenwile to give the head witch, Helfrida, I think is her name, a note saying that they had her daughter come alone, blah, blah, blah. And the witches are having a party in celebration of the games that are happening. And there's this big, huge oak tree that has hammocks in it and fairy lights and blah, 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 blah. So when it showed that it was there, I was like, oh, I bet it's a hammock. So anyway, so they are able to lure Helfrida out to come get her daughter. And of course, it's a double cross. And so that's where I am right now. So we shall see what happens. I am getting close to the end. I'm not very far. I'm still enjoying the book. As of now, I would say 3-star read. But we'll see. We'll see how it ends. And yeah, so that's where we are. So next video will probably be the end. And then I'll give my final thoughts. So stay tuned. Alrighty, we are on the last gift. There are still a few more pages left in this though. So here we go. Let us see what the final gift is. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. Not specifically, but let's see. Okay, so page 335. Ooh, this is cool. Oh, that's nice. I like this. So it is a cool picture. So this corresponds to a picture that is on Kerrigan's wall that is a favorite of his. So very cool. So the last thing that we left off with was the witches kind of surprising the little group that have the head witch's daughter. They capture, or they think they're going to capture the head witch. She, you know, surprises them with a bunch of her witches. There ends up being a fight. Kerrigan's brother Donovan comes, and then the rest of the company, Bly and some of the others, go to help as well to rescue Kerrigan because they capture Kerrigan, the witches do. And they're able to overpower everybody. The vampires are able to kill a bunch of the witches, and then Bly sneaks up on the head witch, Helfrida. I keep on forgetting what her name is, but I think that's right. Helfrida, and is able to put a binding spell on her, and they're able to capture her, and they head back to Vagaris to take her to the two queens. So because they know that no one else is going to capture another witch that's more important than the head witch. And so they'll be able to claim the prize of immortality for Emerson at the end of the evening. So until then, the group goes off and they're gonna rest and do whatever. So that's where we are. So Bly went to Kerrigan's room so that she could rest and stuff, and we got this cool picture. So that's where we are. So I know I said last time that the next video would probably be of me finishing the book, but this happened a little quicker than I was expecting. So I wanted to open the gift for you and share a little thoughts. But next time for sure will be the wrap up of the book, finishing the last little bit of it and all that, and giving my final thoughts. So stay tuned for that. Hey guys, so it's the next day and I did finish the book. So I finished the Revenant games. I'm trying to remember where I left off. I can't even remember. Well, they were able to, again, spoilers. Bly tricked Kerrigan because she has feelings for him now and she didn't want to see him die. Oh, that's where we left off. The vampire queens did change Emerson. He decided that he would go through with it, even though he didn't really want to at first because he hates vampires, but in the hopes to see Elise again, he went ahead and went through with the transition, which takes a minute, I guess. It's not like an instant transformation. It's like a day, and in the meantime, you're weak. So that happened, and then as they were going to go ahead and deliver Kerrigan to the witches, across the forest to Havenwild and deliver him, Bly tricks him, again, because she has feelings for him, and doesn't want to see him sacrifice himself for her or anything like that. And so she tricks him, binds him, and captures and binds his brother Donovan instead, because he technically is not a good vampire, and so she'd rather see someone that isn't very good, a sacrifice to the witches. So that happens. They go to Havenwild. She is able to take Donovan and Emerson and one of the other team players, Vincent was his name. They take him there, and they win. Well, then to resurrect Elise, Vincent ends up wanting his sister resurrected, who died during one of the altercations in the forest. She ended up dying, getting cursed by the witches and died. So he reneges on his deal where he only wanted the money, and Bly ends up having to challenge him. And the first person to fall is the one that gets the resurrection prize for their loved ones. Bly ends up winning through some help. Kerrigan ends up finding them because it took them a while to carry Donovan back to the witches. And he, during the process of fighting, he spells her with some strength and speed. And she wins. So, surprise with this, they end up going through with the spell to resurrect her sister. And this is definitely a spoiler. Come to find out she can't be resurrected because she's still alive. So instead, Bly wants to resurrect Kerrigan and Donovan's mother for them, but they're like, no, we don't want that. We don't want them to see what we've become. And so she lets Vincent resurrect his sister. And then from there, it kind of ends. So we don't know where Elise is. Oh, Donovan kind of knows, but he won't say, because the way to resurrect someone is very gruesome. You need blood from a witch and a vampire and a human to resurrect someone. So in that process, Vincent is the one that ends up having to sacrifice himself for his sister. So he dies, she's resurrected. Donovan was the one that has to give his blood, but because he's a vampire, if you remove the dagger, he can heal. So she was able to do that, and he told her that he knows her sister, but he wouldn't say anything other than that. And he's now captured by the witches, and so that's kind of where it ends. It's a cliffhanger. Of course, Kerrigan now is bitter towards Bly because of what she did, the double cross, when he was willing to sacrifice himself and all that. So there is obviously going to be another book. I'm not sure when that comes out. But 3-star read for me. I did enjoy it. The characters weren't super fleshed out, but we did get some backstory about Kerrigan and some, of course, from Bly. And you kind of, even with the double crossing, she wasn't a terrible person. She just was really committed to seeing her sister resurrected and brought back to the family. So you get her motivation with everything, and she has some morals in, even with the double cross. At the end, she fights within herself with some things. So I liked it. I thought it was worth reading. As far as reading the next one, I may get around to it when it comes out, but I don't feel super attached to the characters. So we'll see. We'll see if I ever get back around to it or not. But I enjoyed it for what it was. And as far as the Once Upon a Book box goes, I think it is a fun book subscription. I did really enjoy coming to the page, whatever the page was, and it's saying, okay, open this gift now. So that was a really fun aspect, I felt, to the whole box. I know some of the other boxes do have gifts also along with the book. But as far as I know, I think this book box is the only one that does, like, you open it at a specific time. So I do really enjoy that aspect of it. I would get it again in the future. I didn't sign up for a subscription. You can do just a gift, like get a gift box even for yourself so you can try it out. So that's what I did with this one. So I do recommend it, and it was reasonably priced. Now, as far as special editions, this is just the regular book. They may have special editions as well, but I know for this box that I actually got, it wasn't a special edition. So if you're looking for a special edition type box, then I don't think Once Upon a Book box is the one for you. But as far as the value goes, it definitely is worth it. I think I mentioned the last little snippet I did about when I opened the hammock or whatever, that it was only like, if I remember right, $35 to $50, and you get actually quite a bit of, I feel like, quality gifts with the book. So there's that. So I enjoyed it. I would get it again depending on the book that's in it, type of thing. I do enjoy the surprise aspect of it, but at the same time, because I'm picky with what I'm reading, I also don't want to get a book that I'm gonna end up not DNFing. So I always look for spoilers. That's just me when it comes to the book boxes. So anyway, that's it, you guys. Thanks for joining me on my reading vlog. I hope it was entertaining for you. I hope it was fun for you to watch me open the gifts. It was fun for me to do, for sure. So thank you. Please subscribe and like the video. if you haven't yet. And until next time, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.